Hey everyone! Nature and evolution have endowed animals with a plethora of bodily parts to aid in their survival. From horns that allow them to fight off their foes, to shells that allow them to hide, and even stingers that help them survive in nature, they have it all. However, it turns out that many animals have been unlucky in nature. Their bodies have several major design problems that can even kill the animals. Because animals are powerless, they can't even save themselves. In this video, we will show you a list of animals who have been slaughtered because of their own physical characteristics. Number 1. Buru Babarusa. Buru Babarusa is one of the world's most odd animals. It resembles a pig yet has numerous unique characteristics. Burus have short legs and an arched back. They also lack fur on their bodies. They are herbivores who consume pure water. Now let's get to the point. How can they murder themselves? Buru Babarusa males have horns rolled towards their heads. These horns tend to grow throughout the course of its life. Unfortunately, they can get so large that they can eventually wedge through their head, causing damage and in some cases, even death. If Babarusa exist in the wild, they must pray that their horns break off by chance. This can happen during battles, and if they're kept in captivity, humans will have to remove their horns on a regular basis. Number 2. Turtles and tortoises. Almost all of us appreciate the slow and sweet animal. They have a tough shell that protects them from predators. However, the same shell might also be a disadvantage for them. Do you understand why? Turtles cannot roll over while on their backs. Big turtles in particular are unable to do so due to their large shells. Turtles' capacity to stand on their feet is influenced by the height, length, and shape of their shell. Turtles are harmed because their shells are stiff and unyielding. A vulnerable turtle can be killed by the sun, malnutrition, or becoming prey to predators if it's accidentally flipped over on its back. If you're a turtle and this happens to you, you'd better hope you have a rounded shell, because if you don't, there's a strong possibility you'll never turn over again. If a turtle becomes caught on its back, it might die in a variety of ways. The most prevalent is caused by the sun. The turtle's shell provides no shade and it can't move to find water, so it's basically slow roasted by the sun. Number 3. Sloths. Sloths are incredibly slow creatures, which is their biggest disadvantage. This sluggishness costs them more than any other animal's life. Sloths sleep for approximately 20 hours every day and only come to land once a week to defecate. Their slowness and friendliness can put them in danger. Any hungry predator, whether from the air or on land, can feast on sloths. Sloths are incapable of defending themselves or fleeing from their predators. Sloths are well known for their inactivity. They spend the most of their time lounging in trees, and it's no secret that nature has given sloths some severe architectural defects. For one thing, they move extremely slowly. When threatened, they can run at a maximum speed of 0.16 miles per hour, which means that any other animal may readily catch them. Sloths sleep roughly 20 hours a day and are exceedingly nice, but their slowness, laziness, and friendliness often lose them their lives. All of the sloth's predators, which include almost every animal, can see that the sloth isn't going anywhere fast. Because of this, they are easy prey for mammals and even birds. Even the same-sized owl can eat sloths. Sloths can perish if they mistake their arm for a tree branch and try to cling onto it, then fall to their death. Number 4. Sheep. Animals don't always benefit from human involvement. Humans have been raising sheep for profit for ages. They are breeding sheep in order to increase their wool production. In comparison to sheep raised primarily for wool, wild species might lose their wool quickly. Specially bred sheep, on the other hand, can produce wool all year. This huge growth of wool on their body has the potential to be a curse for them. Long wool can cause heat stress, movement concerns, and visual problems. Bugs and insects can also enter inside the wool, causing itching in the sheep. Sheep eventually rub up against trees and fences, resulting in bleeding and, in extreme cases, death. Number 5. Rams or bighorn sheeps. Rams are large animals that can weigh more than 100 pounds. Their large rolled horns give them a frightening appearance. These horns aid them in fighting other hams, defending themselves from attacks and injuring the opponent. Despite the fact that these horns are a weapon for them, they might result in a slow and agonizing death. They, like reindeers, do not exchange horns with other hams. However, as they age, their horns begin to grow in the opposite direction. They eventually start slowly penetrating through their cranium. Rams are either infected or killed as a result of this puncture. Number 6. Reindeer. Reindeer are not as lucky as Buru Babarusa because their antlers are tough and do not shatter readily. They are nonetheless present to hurt and even kill opponents. They can kill themselves during fights for females with other reindeers. Reindeer antlers are both sharp and big. They may be fierce weapons when combined with the bodily strength of a reindeer. However, reindeer antlers frequently cause them to lose their own lives. Reindeer frequently spar with one another. It's fairly common for men to compete for females. Similar to humans, when two reindeer fight, only one of them survives. However, the antlers might become entwined during some of these conflicts. This indicates that the reindeer are unable to move properly. They too are unable to eat or drink and will soon die. If this occurs near water, the reindeer may fall in and become stranded. People occasionally come upon reindeer that have become entwined. They eventually release them by chopping off their antlers. This is a painless procedure that has the potential to save the reindeer's lives. Number 7. Donkeys and horses. Donkeys and horses require grooming. They must have their hooves removed. The expanded hooves are most commonly encountered in donkeys and horses that are raised as livestock and subsequently abandoned by their owner. Horses and donkeys' pace might be slowed by the larger hooves, which can also cause discomfort. Slow pace might sometimes make them easy prey for predators. Other creatures can fall into problems if the temperature drops, as walking on ice or a frozen lake becomes difficult. Horses and donkeys are on their feet virtually all day, which necessitates the use of exceptionally powerful hooves. However, horses and donkeys have a design defect in that their hooves continue to develop. They require them to be clipped at regular intervals. This will occur if they are on a farm, but it will not occur if they are in the wild. The animal will be unable to walk straight if their hooves are not clipped. This can be excruciatingly uncomfortable for the animal. Uncut hooves frequently cause horses and donkeys in the mountains to tumble. Number 8. Salmon fish. Salmon spawn in rivers with a strong current because the fast-flowing fresh water provides a lot of oxygen for their offspring. The salmon limit their feeding activities to a minimum and burn through all of their physiological energy reserves on their passage upstream in order to reach the breeding grounds. When the fish arrive at the spawning grounds, they will spend whatever energy they have left to spawn. After spawning, the salmon's body begins to deteriorate quickly and eventually shuts down altogether. The salmon run is the name given to this epic expedition. Salmon are a fairly specific sort of fish. They are born in fresh water, spend the majority of their adult lives in the sea, and then return to fresh water to reproduce and die. You could argue it's the ultimate sacrifice. This type of behavior is highly rare in fish, and only a few species exhibit it. It's known as simulparity, and it's a truly severe way of reproduction. Simulparous organisms, such as Pacific salmon, devote all available resources to reproduction at the expense of their own future lives. So in a sense, salmon die to give birth to new life. Over millions of years, the process of simulparity in salmon has evolved, resulting in a few fascinating elements of the salmon's reproductive cycle. Number 9. Bees. A honeybee will sting if it feels a threat to its hive, but it will rarely strike when foraging away from the hive unless it's stepped on or handled aggressively, and it dies when it stings. The stinger of a honeybee is made up of 2 barbed lancets. When a bee stings, it's unable to take the stinger back out. It not only leaves behind the stinger, but also a portion of its digestive tract, muscles, and nerves. The bee is killed by a catastrophic abdomen rupture. However, there is a benefit for the bees in this. Even after you've swatted the bee away, a cluster of nerve cells coordinates the muscles of the stinger's muscles. The barbed shafts rubbed against each other, digging further into your skin. For several minutes after the bee has left, muscular valves pump poisons from an attached venom sac and transfer them to the wound. You may have heard that instead of pinching the stinger, you should flick it off or scrape it. However, because the stinger continues to function after the bee has been removed, it's critical that you remove it as soon as possible. According to research, it makes no difference how. Even a few seconds delay in deciding how to remove it can be disastrous. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like button below, followed by the subscribe button. You may also share our videos and come back to see what else we have to offer. See you in the next video.